Hey, episode 11, officially a wrap, and them boys from the Bayou is fighting like somebody stole their hunting boots or like somebody stole their girl at the hoedown. Welcome to After TUF. I'm Dean Thomas. Coming up, Kurt Hollabaugh is here to talk about making it to the finale and getting one step closer to the second UFC contract. Coach Michael Chandler also joins us. And what a fantastic episode that was. Kurt Hollabaugh has never looked better, and I am surprised how terrible the coaches were at trivia. But let's take a look at our first bonus clip of the day.
What do we reckon this is? Obstacle course?
Obstacle course, bro. I have a feeling. Hopefully it'll roll down.
Oh, shoot.
Obstacle course. Yeah.
Milk, maybe like a rock climb somewhere.
Maybe you guys are doing like a gladiator battle.
American
Gladiator.
You cool? You sure?
Like a press conference. Let's go up there, yeah?
Like a
Press conference.
You open up, there's 20,000 people in there. Here we go, boys.
It's a great debate. You guys can go out there.
It's a chess competition.
Checkers.
We
The most
play
boring coaching challenge ever.
I'm playing chess.
Yo, why Conor always look like he wearing a wetsuit? But this is how you can tell that my man is a fighter. Because no matter where he goes, he always shadow boxing. Conor McGregor. But let's take a look at how the semifinals are shaping up. Team Chandler's Austin Hubbard took the very first lightweight spot in the finale. And just as you witnessed, Kurt also from Team Chandler secured the spot against him. And Brad Katona from Team McGregor will be in the bantamweight finale and could be the first two-time champ in Ultimate Fighter history. Next week, we'll see who will fill that last spot and be one step closer to the coveted UFC contract. And with that, we welcome in the coach who racked up the most wins this season, Iron Michael Chandler. Mike, what's up, boy?
What's up, man? Good to see you again. Hey, it's getting a little sad, man. We only got one more of these after this, but thank you for having me again, man.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you. But we just watched another Team Chandler versus Team Chandler matchup with Kurt and Jason. It was a banger from start to finish. How was it not coaching a final? I mean, you're sitting there watching from the side and you weren't able to coach. How was that?
Man, it was so tough, man, because this one, the first one we saw was Austin Hubbard versus Roosevelt Roberts. A little bit more of a technical battle. Obviously we had to watch 3 rounds of it, so it was longer. But, man, in that tiny little apex, extremely quiet, nobody talking, all you hear is leather landing. All you hear is kicks and punches and knees landing. So it was tough to watch two dudes who I love, two dudes who I wanted to win. Both of them I wanted to win. Didn't want to see either of them lose, but man, we had to do what we had to do. And Team Chandler, this is what happens when you just keep on winning, So Team Chandler versus Team Chandler, and hats off to Hollabaugh, and hats off to a very tough Jason Knight.
Now, I really enjoyed this episode, and part of the reason why was because you and Conor had your first coach's challenge, the ice bath. Now, how long were you actually in that ice bath?
I don't know if I should tell you guys because I'm pretty sure the producers might have gotten in trouble for how long we were in there. But it was definitely longer than y'all thought because there was teleprompter issues. There was, little breaks here and there. There was ice being thrown on me whenever I lost the first round. Then when I lost the second round, or I guess I won the second round, whatever it was. And, man, it was tough. It was tough being in there. It was over 20 minutes. Luckily, it was just kind of a little above the belly button. But if I could not think of a worse challenge for me when it comes to UFC or MMA trivia, I'm just not good at MMA trivia. That's why I lost. Dang it.
Well, I mean, I get that. It's hard. Like, if you're not like a super nerd like I am, it's hard to do that type of trivia. But even more so than that, like, that's not what impressed me. What impressed me was the fact that you said up until 6 months ago, you were afraid of the cold. And you handled that like a champ. Now, like, look at you. Look at you're all red and Man, how did you get over that fear?
Man, you know what? I realized is, the funny thing about being a fighter and a fighter at my caliber and a fighter the way that I fight, everyone thinks I'm this big, tough guy, right? Like if I'm not afraid to go step into Madison Square Garden in front of millions of people and get into an absolute slugfest, I can't be afraid of a lot of things. But I was so afraid of cold water. Not afraid, I was just being a sissy about it. And I thought to myself one day, man, if I'm going to be the best fighter, father, husband, the best man I can be, I gotta get over this fear. So I started doing. Actually, in Vegas, there was one of the longest stretches that I did cold therapy because it was cold there in Vegas, February through March. I had a pool in my backyard at the Airbnb that they rented. So every single day, 5 minutes a day, I'd go jump in that cold water and get over that fear, man. Face your fears because the man that you want to become is on the other side of those fears. And now I do it dang near every day, if not, 4 or 5 times a week.
Man, you're such a self-help book. You're like a walking self-help book. Listen, I don't even put ice in my tea, so like it's not happening. But Saturday night, you shut down Nashville. You rolled up to the Sanhagen fight in a 2-seater Indy car. Now, why you got to stunt on Conor like that? You know what I mean?
Man, hey, listen, Conor's out there. He's got the Rollies. He's got all the expensive stuff. He's got Lambos on the Ultimate Fighter. I had to show up in something cool. And what's cooler than an Indy car, man? So jumped out of that thing. I was sweating in that fireproof suit. All the fans came in and kind of swarmed in because they did not expect it. They heard us coming from a mile away, but they did not expect it. And it was a really, really cool way to show up to the fights. And obviously that we put on a great show. The UFC put on a great show in my beautiful home state and city of Nashville here in Tennessee.
Well, you can do it all, as we've seen, but are we going to see you as a race car driver after you hang it up?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Maybe my son Hap. My son Hap loves cars. He loves planes. He loves anything that goes. So maybe someday, maybe I'll start getting him in those little go-karts, start driving. So we got to meet a couple drivers this past weekend. So it was a really cool experience for Hap.
Now, Mike, before we go, we recently got footage of you teaming up with Safi, showing foster kids around the UFC PI. I want to take a look at that and want to know what that was like for you. So let's take a look at that now.
What's up, guys? How are you? I'm Michael. What's your name? Danny? Aiden. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
What is it?
Kenyan.
Nice to meet you. So we are here with Safi, who is a charity here in Clark County, Las Vegas, Nevada, who helps to facilitate the reunification of children with their biological parents or helps get them placed for adoption. And obviously myself being a father of 2 amazing young boys that my wife and I adopted, it is near and dear to our hearts. It's just very important to me to put as many smiles on kids' faces that I possibly can. You're handsome, bro. Let's go. And especially in this type of scenario where maybe they don't get a haircut as often as they should. Maybe they don't get awesome experiences like visiting the PI or gifts.
You guys all get to go home with some skateboards. No way. How cool is that?
Or being, being told that they are valued. We all want to be loved. We all want to all feel valued. And if I can do that through the UFC and the UFC helping facilitate that, it's part of the platform that I've been given.
I mean, watching that video just speaks to how good of a dude you are, man. But what was that experience like for you?
Man, it was so cool. And the beautiful thing about life is we do have a tendency to become very selfish, right? And that's what we do. It's all about me, my feelings. I'm in the Ultimate Fighter. I'm uncomfortable. I'm under all this pressure. I have all this to-do list. So to be able to go out there and serve and put smiles on these kids' faces, get them a haircut, man, you know how you feel after a good haircut. I know how I feel after a good haircut. Pizza, hanging out, gifts, a tour of the PI, man. It was just really cool to serve these kids. And obviously myself being a father to 2 adopted sons, man, it's near and dear to my heart. And the UFC, when the UFC approached me about, hey, doing something cool, it was a no-brainer for me. And it was a really, really cool way to reset my mindset that I am truly a blessed individual and I am blessed to be a blessing. And it was a lot of fun.
Well, Mike, it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun when you come on here every week. Thanks again. We appreciate your time. Looking forward to next week. Man, I can't wait to see what happens next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Dean. I'll see you at the top.
All right, my man. Peace out. Now, in case you missed how this week's fight went, here's a quick recap.
This is the type of fight that I wanted to see.
two badass UFC vets who are dying to get back into the UFC. Both of these guys came out wanting to stand and drop bombs. And that's exactly what they did in the first round. Exchanging shots, knowing exactly what was riding on this fight. I was very impressed with both of these guys. In the second round, looked like Kurt got a second wind.
Beautiful rib shot.
Jason landed a few good shots, but it was pretty clear that Kurt was getting the better of him. Eventually, Kurt overwhelmed Jason. Brutal shots, elbows, and the ref had to stop it.
Stop, that's it, stop.
Just a badass fight. Best one of the season so far.
Now let's welcome in the winner, the Battle of the Bayou, Kurt Hollaball. Kurt, how are you doing, man? I mean, got it done this week, man. What's going on?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Like you said, got it done and just excited to be here.
Now, Kurt, I got to tell you, man, that was the best and most calculated I had ever seen you. And I wasn't expecting that, man. I was expecting more of a fun, maybe even a kind of a sloppy brawl. But was that the game plan all along to go out there and just really do him that way?
I mean, for sure. That's the game plan that I have for everybody, you know, as long as I can stop their takedowns. But yeah, man, you know, that's what I expected to go out there and do.
Now, 2 weeks ago, we saw Austin Hubbard and Roosevelt Roberts fight. They seemed to have a hard time separating their friendship from what they had to do. Now, did that fight serve as a reminder for you that you had a job to do and you had to put that friendship aside?
Not really. You know, I didn't even really get to see that fight. We was already in the back. But, I mean, I knew what I was there to do, you know, and, you know, me and Jason, we're still tight till this day. But, you know, we set that aside and we went in there to do battle.
Y'all sure did. Now, even at the weigh-ins, y'all did something I had never seen before. Y'all had a prayer. Y'all had a moment together. Can you kind of walk me through that and tell me what that meant to you?
Yeah, you know, that meant a lot. And that's the type of guy Jason is. You know, he did the same thing in his fight with Landon. You know, we know why we're there. We know we're there to beat the other guy. However, we need to do that. But at the end of the day, it's all about respect and it's all about friendship to me.
Now, you got pretty emotional talking to your family when you got your phone call. Can you describe into words what that meant to you?
It meant everything, right? Because, I mean, that was literally on, like, the last night we were staying in the house. So we've already been away from our family for around 6 weeks. And that's my first interaction since, you know, and you got so much built inside that you want to be able to tell them, right? Because I'm heading to the semifinals. I'm fighting Jason Knight, who my whole family's a fan of. You know, we've been around Jason for a long time, so we've always known that's been a fight that could happen at any time in my career. So just to be able to see them and talk to them for 10 minutes and let them know how I was doing, that I was going to the semifinals and that I was fighting Jason, meant a lot.
Now, I noticed that your little one was kind of giving you a hard time. He didn't want to show up. Did you rough him up when you got home?
Oh, of course. You know, grabbed him in a little guillotine choke.
Yeah.
But no, that's my buddy, man. He's just he was just having a bad day, I guess. He would rather go swimming.
Now the finals are set. You got Austin Hubbard. I don't want you to give away too much, but is there anything that you can share that you may have learned about him in the house that can give you an advantage in this fight?
I don't know, man. You know, we did a lot of training together. I mean, Austin's got his particular set of skills. I have my particular set of skills. And, you know, really what it's all about is who can show up and implement their game plan on that night, who can show up and be the better fighter. You know, I love Austin. I feel like we're a very similar guy, right? We've been around each other. We're both real down to earth. We're both really humble guys. I consider Austin a friend. And really, I mean, realistically, I've talked to Austin quite a few times, you know, already having this fight set. So, but it's going to be the same thing, right? We're going to show up in Boston. We're going to put our friendship to the side. We're going to do battle for, you know, 1 to 3 rounds, you know, 1 to 15 minutes, and may the best man win.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I will be in attendance. I can't wait till that fight. You looked amazing against Jason Knight. I'm hoping that you look just as good against Austin Hubbard. Kurt, finish your training camp strong. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Dean. Thank you, guys.
Now, we know Conor loves to get under Chandler's skin. So let's take a look at some of the best trash talk from tonight's episode.
You're shaking right now.
No,
You got a shaker over here.
I do about minute 3.
We got into the ice bath and his jaw was going, he was rattling. He was absolutely shaking in the thing. I thought we were gonna have to call an ambulance or something like that. Now it was cold, in fairness.
I'm in the UFC since he's in nappies.
The coaches seem to be handling the cold pretty well.
It's like the jacuzzi on me yacht.
What is Chandler's nickname? A, Iron, B, the Terror, C, Skippy.
Skippy! Skippy should be Skippy.
Got the W, baby. The rich get richer. I got 10 in this pocket that I'm at the winner. I got 10 in this pocket that I'm at the bringing. And that's it, the roulette on the wrist. The house is always winning, baby, yeah, and I'm the house.
That's McGregor at his finest. Now here's some bonus footage following Conor's Coaches Challenge win.
The double champ.
Thank God.
Let's go. Let's go. Best time champ. You feel your legs got a lot. Nice fucking champ, baby. We had a scare.
got pneumonia in the toe. Yeah. I was thinking in my head, would you rather freeze to death or be caught with fire? And yeah, fire is probably easier. With the pain I was feeling on the front of my toes, I didn't know what was going on.
You look good off the bat.
You hit it
I was like, what the f***? And I was like, you were born.
You were proposed. Chandler was shivering off the bat.
Chandler was shivering you. Isn't it mad that?
Yeah. Gives you a little bit. And every time you look over at your stuff,
that's where the energy is important to have your own energy because it can. You know what I mean?
control that,
yeah.
Appreciate the win, coach.
To another W, lads. To the rising tide, right? We're on the way, lads.
Salute. Cheers, let's go.
Now, why on earth do Conor make all them dudes drink his proper 12? What if they don't want to drink it? But I will say this, though. Conor is the best trash talker probably in the game currently right now. Just imagine if you could actually understand him half the time. And now for my favorite part of the show. Memes of the week. Here we go. What memes do we have this week? Oh, when you're introducing your girl to the boys, but you can't remember her name. Oh my God, what was her name? It must have been one of them kind of nights. All right, the Magic Mike outtakes. Look at these boys. They getting that on, they getting that little swerve on. I see. When grandma walked outside the bathroom naked and you can't unsee it, I mean, that's a horrible sight, but we've all been there, right? Get rid of that one. How dudes do curls in prison. He would definitely know. They hold on here and they just get the little pump on them curls. Yep, this is how it happens. The squad showing up to a high school party. Y'all know y'all too damn old to be hanging out with these kids, but they still show up. They still show up. But make sure you check out the next episode of The Ultimate Fighter Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN+. Then stick around for After TUF because we are going big for the last episode before the finale. Coach Michael Chandler will be in studio along with UFC Hall of Famer and TUF 27 coach Daniel D.C. Cormier to break it all down. But check us out on ESPN+, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And trust me, you do not want to miss this one. And now, here's a sneak peek at next week's episode.
On the season finale of The Ultimate Fighter,
I heard we have some crawfish.
Conor and Michael spend quality time with their teams during the final days of the competition.
It was a good time to just bond with the guys.
I love you to bits. Thank you for your time, guys. All of you. Yeah.
For real, this is like...
As a gift from me to yourselves, I'm giving you $1,000 each of chips.
Then, the only McGregor prospect remaining Boston native Rico DeShulo looks to continue his Cinderella story and secure his spot in the bantamweight final.
Cody, man, it's my time now, man. I'm coming with everything locked and loaded, and so you better be prepared, man, because I'm bringing the heat.
But Team Chandler's Cody Gibson has dreams of his own.
You know, Rico, skill for skill and will for will, I outmatch you. I'm punching my ticket to the finale, and I'm not gonna let you or anybody else stand in my way of doing that.
Hoping to continue his quest for a return to the UFC. It's the final fight of the season with everything on the line. Who will move one step closer to the big stage, becoming the next Ultimate Fighter?
Next week's season finale will complete the matchups for the TUF finale, which takes place at UFC 292 in Boston. Lightweight Austin Hubbard and Kurt Hollaball will square off, while Brad Katona awaits the winner of Rico DeShula and Cody Gibson. I am officially declaring that not only was that the fight of the season, but it was also for the TUF 31 BMF belt. I mean, these dudes live an hour and a half from each other in the bayou, but they waited 10 years to fight each other in a quiet arena in front of Dana White, Conor McGregor, and Michael Chandler. And it might have been worth it, because them boys was scrapping like they was fighting for a seat in the deer stand. And in the end, it was Kurt Hollaball who touched up Jason's night like a blind person reading Braille. There was only one real loser in all this. That was Lee Hammond. Looking back, he might have been the best lightweight in the house. Yet now he gonna have to watch the finale from the Black Forge. Now speaking of black, you gotta be out your rabbit ass mind if you think I'ma sit in a cold plunge answering trivia questions. I don't even let the temperature in the hotel room dip under 78. And what's up with them easy ass questions anyway? Y'all can do better than that. On second thought, maybe you couldn't. Well, the lightweight finale is set. Kurt and Austin, put your personal feelings aside and remind us what's the most important lesson that we learned this season, and that was taught to us by Conor McGregor. That is, when you rich, you don't have to fight. You can just act like you want to. But when you broke, you better come out swinging like Jose Ramirez. Until then, I'm Dean Thomas, and I'm not here to give you a problem. I'm just here to give you some tough love. Have a good night.